quite unbelievable, the discourtesy that they have shown to the Dalai Lama.
To make South Africa a target of the United States. He does get that the point the United States made last year about suspending foreign assistance to South Africa was because it's undermining our national policy, our national security, and that of our friends, partners, and allies. But they don't seem to care. They keep doubling down. Cyril is no longer the waffle man. Now he's the martyr man. He wants to go down in a ball of flames, spewing his hatred and nonsense to the United States, a country where he went after begging for an appointment with the president of the most powerful country in the world, who cleared his schedule, then arrogantly, like a typical African leader, made the president of the United States wait 43 minutes, as if Cyril Ramaphosa himself is more important than the president of the United States. But at the elective conference in Limpopo on Sunday, the 29th of March, 2026, he said several things that are going to simply get him on Donald Trump's radar, which appears to be his intent. Those who believe might is right should be aware that their approach and policy are not acceptable to us in the global South, because we believe in equity, multilateralism, and collaboration, rather than suppressing weaker nations. Except that's not even remotely true. The ANC believes in supporting terror regimes. They have no problem with conquest, especially in the global South, when it's their friends that do it. So who is he talking about here? If he's talking about we believe in equity and multilateralism collaboration, is he talking about China, which illegally invaded and annexed Tibet 60 years ago? The same Tibet where the religious and political leader, the Dalai Lama, has had to live his life in exile. One of the most peaceful and wonderful human beings on the planet, who was denied a visa not once but twice by the ANC communist criminal regime. When he wanted to go to a racism conference, of all things, we don't forget this stuff, ANC. You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You pretend that you care about equity and multilateralism, collaboration, and equality, but you don't. You denied the Dalai Lama a visa to go to a racism conference, of all things. It wasn't like he was going to a strip club. He was going to a racism conference, and you said no visa for him. That's insane. And then you denied him a visa when he wanted to visit his friend, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, on his 80th birthday.
You have to wake me up and tell me that this is actually happening here.
Are they referring to China? I don't think so. Are they referring to Russia? Russia, believing in global equity? Well, Russia is technically part of the global South, and they invaded their friends next door in Ukraine. They've also undermined the banking system by attacking it with electronic cyber attacks of Estonia. They've invaded Georgia and attacked it multiple times. So who exactly are these global southern actors that you're in league with here? I'm not buying any of this. India and Pakistan are constantly at each other's throats, firing artillery, murdering soldiers on both sides of the border. That's in the global South. Is that what you're talking about? Equity, multilateralism, collaboration? No, you're just hypocrites. But he makes it clear who he's talking about in his next comment. The illegal war being waged by the U.S. and Israel is an act of imperialist aggression that has placed the global economy and international security at great risk. Imperialist aggression, which can be political, military, economic, in order for it to be imperial. So kind of like what South Africa's economy does, its economic domination of the other SADC members. Maybe that's what we're talking about. South Africa is an imperial power in Botswana, in Eswatini, in Lesotho, in Mozambique, in Zimbabwe, not so much there, and in Namibia. It is an imperial power, lording over their economies, creating policies that in SACU and SADC that favor South Africa, not its partners. That's an imperial power. Is that what they're talking about? And as far as global security is not only not at grave risk, it's actually dramatically, demonstrably improved by defanging the terrorist mullahs of a theocratic state in Tehran intent on turning the Middle East into melted glass with nuclear weapons. Security is demonstrably improved, and you can ask the neighbors around the region who are grateful for the defanging of these lunatics in Tehran. Lunatics who are, by the way, friends of South Africa. Wade and Natasha proudly proclaiming that South Africa's long friendship with the terrorists in Tehran means that South Africa will be getting fuel. Cyril the martyr man. Just stupid stuff. Attempting to become a martyr. A principled stand. He says the following as well. As a country, South Africa stood firm in the face of very powerful and vicious global right-wing forces that are working to undermine the standing and sovereignty of other nations. What are these global right-wing forces? Anything that's not left of center of the ANC, is that right-wing? Apparently. He said, we've taken a principled stance, which is consistent with our independent foreign policy, and we continue to support those nations that are struggling for self-determination, such as Palestine, Cuba, and Western Sahara, in the face of threats being made and actions being taken to undermine their standing. Well, Western Sahara is not a country. It's a province of Morocco, and it's finally been recognized that way by many countries. The Zawahiri are terrorists who went into Algeria and populated the country like rabbits, sex-crazed rabbits. There were nobody and a handful of few thousands who went there into Algerian exile. It is Morocco and has always been Morocco, even when it's a Spanish territory. So you can support them all day long. It doesn't change the reality. Palestine doesn't exist. It's a fiction. It's a fantasy. They didn't exist before that. It was part of the Ottoman Empire or the Egyptian territory or Jordanian territory, Transjordan. There is no Palestine. That's a fiction. The Palestinians are Arabs. Simple as that. Cuba. Cuba is an independent country. It's a communist country that's failed. So no one's undermining their sovereignty. They're just not getting fuel anymore. So you have a principled stance on nations that are struggling for self-determination. What, like Somaliland or Puntland? Have you recognized either of those? No, you haven't. You haven't. What about the independence of Tibet, an independent country illegally occupied by your communist friends in Beijing? Yeah, that's in the global south. You don't care about the Tibetans. Interesting. Principled stance. Anyway, folks, so Cyril Ramaphosa is playing the role of the victim, and he wants the United States to take action against South Africans or South Africa. And if you keep stabbing the bear, we're no longer at the point where ANC is poking the bear. They're now stabbing the bear, hoping that the bear will get attention on South Africa because they want to be the victims. That's who the ANC is, and that's what it's all about for them. And this is sad for South Africans. But don't worry, Cyril. Rest assured, the 5 lawsuits tied to MTN and the Iran cell and their financing of terrorists in Afghanistan and Iraq that have murdered thousands of Americans, maimed our soldiers, killed them. Don't worry, your day is coming. Those court cases are coming. They're progressing. None of them were dismissed. The judge said, nope, they all have merit. They'll go forward. And somebody at MTN will likely be held culpable. Who was on the board and chairman? One Cyril Ramaphosa, followed by Mkhize Jonas, your special representative of the United States, who's never been to America and knows nothing about America. So keep pushing, and you may get what you ask for. Martyrdom may be closer than Cyril Ramaphosa thinks. What say you, South Africa, Mzansi? Cheers.